Sarah, welcome on a Mosin Thursday.
Hi, Jim. It's great to be back here again. How are you today?
Wonderful. And I'll bet you already knew this before even we noticed it here that Freddie Mac was going to say this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this is what we do. I truly am very much in tune with what's happening in the market, and obviously very happy to be on air with you today, and certainly rates are at an all-time low. And some lenders provide higher rates for margins. Others, like ourselves, provide rates that are the lowest in the industry because we work with wholesale banking.
Why do interest rates change?
It's a great question. A lot of folks don't realize that the rates are based on the Treasury notes, the yields on the 10 or 30-year Treasury notes. These are auctioned off by the U.S. Treasury Department to the highest bidder, and then the yields respond to the market demand. So therefore, that is why the rates do fluctuate throughout the day. And when we work with our 50 wholesale lenders, Jim, we can actually look at where rates are and we can lock you in accordingly, versus if you're in retail banking, you walk in, you see the same rate, and it looks as if that rate remains that way for 30 days. But it's all about the margins. So, if you want to get the lowest interest rate with the lowest payment, which should be your long-term plan, that is the way to go on the wholesale lending division, which is what we offer.
Now, I believe you mentioned, and I was in the process of getting a phone call here while you were on, that the interest rates are governed by Treasury bills, right?
Mm-hmm,
okay,
right.
T-bills, as they're called.
Right.
Now, because they are decreasing, is that something to be fearful about? Should somebody take that to mean, that means the economy is crumbling?
Well, I think it's what we call market activity. So when the housing market crashed, what was happening was that there was just not a position for folks to go out there and purchase homes. A lot of folks ended up with one income versus two income households. And as rates were lowered, artificially lowered, in order to create some activity in the market, and then they had that. Do you remember when they had that credit, that $7,500 credit for first-time home buyers?
Yes,
Jim?
yes.
So that was incentive for first-time home buyers during that market crash, so that folks could at least go out there, venture out, and say, hey, you know what, I want to buy a home, and I have this credit, which is not available now, but you still have options that we offer from the wholesale side where you can put 3.5% down versus a 20% down option on your first home. So essentially, what we're looking at is artificially lowered rates to create market activity and get the economy back to where it was.
One last question, Sarah.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever somebody is going to go buy a home and they go to wherever they're going to get the money from, often the terminology is thrown out that is take two. Often the terminology that is thrown out is, do you want to lock your rate in?
Right.
What does that mean?
Well, it just simply means this. You can actually, if your dream rate is right there, let's say your dream rate is 3.875 on a 30-year term, and that's available, then you can lock that in immediately. Or as we get closer to closing, we can watch the rate, and if it drops further, we could lock it in for 30 or 60 days. So it really is up to the borrower if they wish the rate and if it's available. And sometimes they have a dream rate, and perhaps that's not available in today's market, but tomorrow the rate might be lower. So we would look for that rate and lock it in.
I have to go back on my word and ask you one more quick question. Mm-hmm. Is there an easy way for the average person to determine how much more their payment would be based on the APR, for example? Let's suppose you got as per Freddie Mac, it's 3.89. Mm-hmm. Let's suppose that you got a mortgage for 3.79. Mm-hmm. That's a 0.10 APR difference. Is there any easy way to determine how much of an effect that will have on a monthly payment?
It's very easy. I mean, what we do is we provide that information immediately so that they can actually see the numbers. We have, software applications which determine it, and that's why I always say to folks, call us, and ask for Sarah. We'll give you the numbers. And that's the first step. Is it a benefit to the borrower? And it is a benefit in every respect because it also depends on the loan amount. So if you're dealing with a multi-million-dollar property, a jumbo loan per se, it's going to make a huge difference.
Yeah.
The numbers don't lie, Jim, and that's why we love what we do, because in reality, if there is someone who is looking at whether it's going to be at an advantage, we can do the numbers for you right there and then to show you how much you're going to save. And without fail, the average savings in all the 37 states that we do lending in for commercial and residential properties. For residential properties, typically $300 to $400 a month.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good piece of money.
It is. It's a huge difference because when you do the calculations on a 30-year term, that's where you see the big picture, where you're saving $100,000 to $200,000 in interest, which you would be giving to your original lender.
Well, Sarah, thank you for enlightening us here.
Not at all. It's my pleasure, Jim.
Okay, and let's suppose somebody is very impressed, as they should be, with what you've had to say. How can they reach you?
Call us here at 1-800-662-9550. Again, the number is 1-800-662-9550. And ask for me. Ask for Sarah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Jim. Take care.
Have a good day and be safe. Let's take a break. It's 3:20 at 1520 WBZW.